Yo, there we go. There we go. What happened? Internet's did something crazy. What's happening? What is happening, man? I hope you've been well since the last time I saw you or you saw me. Welcome back. And this is May the 1980s. Doing a live show type of deal because I got a lot to say about a lot of music things, and also just want to take some time to just talk to y'all, talk to you about how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Whether this is your first time listening or watching, if this is YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, man, welcome. But I'm want to talk some music, nerd out over some music. I'm gonna talk about some life, some content things. Been very inspired to do a lot of things over the last few weeks, even though you haven't seen me and I haven't been in the space to create consistently. I want you to know I've been inspired. And I want to talk about what's been inspiring me and why. All right. But never forget, made in 1980s, man. It's this little tinker shop I got going on here that we're going to talk about maybe in a little more in-depth manner, but right now, let's get to it. First, I want to talk about the Clipse. Pusha T, Malice. Yep. We're back to Malice. So it was no Malice when he was putting out the inspirational or the gospel rap projects, but now we're back to Malice and Pusha T because that is the Clipse. That is the Clipse. And first thing I want to say is that salute to the New York Times. The New York Times, the creators of the New York Times, they did an incredible interview with the Clipse. It's if you've heard the new records, whether it's Ace Trumpets or if you heard So Be It, you know that this is the original interview that was mentioned. The transcripts were released. And for transcripts, for everybody that may be unaware, that is when they actually type out the interview and they release it for publications, for print publications. Well, I got a chance to watch this conversation, and this was an amazing conversation. And I don't want to come off as anti us, and by us, you know what I'm talking about. But man, I want to say, man, John and Joe smoked this. John and Joe were the two hosts of this podcast. I'm going to subscribe now. I'm officially subscribing now because I want to see how they conduct other conversations. But man, they smoked this. That podcast is some great content, and it furthermore proved that there is a definite line of journalism versus like content creators, if you will. And the line is not so fine after seeing this interview. I like to call them conversations because it didn't really feel like an interview, even though, I mean, obviously it was. But man, New York Times, man, John and Jay podcast. Check out that Clipse conversation, Clipse interview. It is great. For me, I think what is often missing in media in general, but I'm gonna stick to specifically like urban media, Black publications, is that we don't have the music nerds speaking anymore. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of the music nerds speaking. Is at least they're not getting pushed to the forefront. And when I'm talking about, like, we need like 20 Torres, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, respect to everybody that's popping for whatever reason they're popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is in no way, shape, or form a disrespect to any of the streamers out there, any of the athletes or actors or artists turned podcasters, anything like that. But for me, it was very refreshing to see a conversation / interview conducted with two people that were legit supporters, fans, listeners of the artist, and not just because the product is out or because the product is on the way. What's so dope about that New York Times podcast episode with the Clipse is that they interviewed them 20 years ago, and they talk about the space that they were in between Hell Hath No Fury, which was the second Clipse album, and the I Got It for Cheap mixtape series, and where the industry was at that time, and the culture shock of everything that was happening, because yes, the internet was out, but it wasn't as real as it is now. Like, 2005, there was no Instagram, TikTok, uh, Twitter, X, fan base. None of that existed. Some of us were on Facebook. I wasn't. I was still on MySpace. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they took it back all the way back to that time, and we get a chance to talk about Malice and why he left the music industry, and what he saw, and how they were growing as an act, even though obviously having label issues at Jive, and all of the different things that were happening with them musically, but yet, and here's these two guys from Virginia talking that coke rap, talking that dope talk, all of that, and yet they're to like the Clipsters, right? The white kids that love, like the white college kids that love the Clipse are at their shows. And then, and I didn't know this because unfortunately I missed the wave. I was not a part of this, but I didn't know the Clipse was the first rap group to perform at South by Southwest. I had no idea. And those are certain things, man, that are absent from just a lot of the urban/black media outlets. It can be done. So don't get it messed up. I'm not saying that we can't do it. I'm saying we don't do it. And I don't understand why. Like, why are we not bigger fans of the artists that look like us to the point where we can conduct conversations like that? Because I thought this was phenomenal. Yeah, they talk about Travis Scott, they talk about, Drake, they talk about Kanye, and those are like footnotes. That ain't even what make the conversation so special. They talk about the careers that both of them have separately, why the separation was seamless, but yet it's still back together. Again, man, I can't stress enough, like they literally covered 20 years of brotherhood, more or less, than just, oh, you had this platinum single, you did this joint, you did that joint. Like that, it's really in depth, man. And I'm respectfully, black media is missing that. Black media is missing that. The questions were very clear and concise. Shout out to Doe. What up, Doe? Yeah, man, it was just a dope interview. I think anybody, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, if you're an artist, if you are a journalist, you're a broadcast journalist, whatever you label yourself as, if you're gonna crack a mic and do a podcast, or if you want to do an interview, I think Popcast is, for me, one of the new blueprints on how to conduct said interview. I know that, everybody want to add their little pizzazz, and we want to be so informal, we want to be so cool, but man, for me, and again, hey, look, I'm a nerd. I got like straight A's in English. You dig? Even though that probably didn't sound super grammatically correct, right? But I appreciate dialogue. I appreciate sophisticated dialogue. I'm not a fan of a lot of interview styles that exist right now. I don't think the smash mouth approach is for everybody. Hey, look, if you want a blueprint on how to do smash mouth, like hard hitting questions, for interviews, dare I say, look up Larry King, uh, Barbara Walters, and maybe even Diane Sawyer to a degree, or Ed Bradley if you want somebody black. You know what I'm saying? Remember Ed Bradley from 60 Minutes. Rest in peace to the legend. Rest in peace to one of the guys that got me interested in even doing broadcast journalism on any level. He's the only man in the world, okay, to interview all the Mikes, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson. He probably would have interviewed Action Jackson too. But I don't know. There might be a Carl Weathers interview out there. Don't know. But I'll tell you, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, um, Michael Jackson. He covered them all. And he was the go-to guy. And he was a revolutionary in the space. As a journalist, as a black journalist, as a black media giant, Ed Bradley was the man to me. So, you know, if you want to get some game and maybe study somebody, I mean, shoot, I probably need to go back and study some of his interviews even now, even to this day. It's been a while since I've seen any. But I say that to say, man, check out that Clipse. Check out that Clipse interview. If you only know nothing more than they're drug rappers and they diss Wayne and Drake, I implore you to watch the conversation. You'll be enlightened. You'll be enlightened. I think that a lot of the morals, principles, and things that some of y'all like post and you tweet about and you put in your comment section, though these are two guys that really live it, you know, and that's not even on some street stuff. That's on some man stuff. That's on some friend stuff. There's gems even in just how they conduct themselves when they talk about themselves, their dynamic, and their relationships with other people, you know. And I think, man, I just think it's just a very solid, ethical, and just pristine conversation. I think just everybody should watch it. I don't care if you love Drake and that makes you hate the Clipse, or you love Travis Scott, whatever side of the fence you stand on. Check out that conversation, man. It's super dope. Super dope. What else do I want to say about it? Oh, yeah. I mean, this should go without saying though, because I already talked about black media is missing real music nerds. Bring back black music nerds. Or let's resurrect black music nerds. Let's make that a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Why we want to go and overexert ourselves on why B. Simone don't want to shop at H&M. Let's just get back to black music nerds and them covering music in a very just palatable and pristine way. I think that's important. Let me see. Yeah, I told you about the language. The vocabulary was great. Yo, they were so where a lot of interviewers will say, "No, tell me about the new single," or "Hey, tell me about who's on your album." You know, like they'll say things like that. These guys took the illest approach of just like, "Hey, what was it like recording at the Louis Vuitton studio?" And Pharrell is there. Because it opens up your mind to a different conversation. And it's like, you know, instead of them saying like, "Yo, man, so you wrote a song about your mom and dad. How was that?" They take the approach of, "Man, so why was it so important for you to start with this song?" And I forget the title of it. He was like, "Because it's so heavy, because it's about your parents." And man, just again, the way you ask questions in a conversation really does change the answer, especially if people understand it, or if people feel like, "Oh, I want to get, you know, deep here." Pause. I think, you know, we as interviewers, again, because a lot of people just know to be popping, and a lot of people know to be hot, a lot of people know to be trending, and you know, and all of that. So you're not really grasping the art of asking open-ended questions. A lot of people are not bad interviews or bad conversations. You're asking closed-ended questions. Hey, and that's something that I had to learn very early in the game when I was because look, I got in radio what 2009. So a lot of the things that I I learned was like, okay, well, they're not responsive to this because one, and sometimes, and look, and I'll keep it a buck with you. You're not a fan. You don't really like them. You're doing this for content for the radio station. Okay, there's that. And then you're asking close-ended questions, you know. Hey man, what's your favorite book? And then they give you the title. Yeah, then that's it. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know what, what's a and then, you know, obviously there's sometimes that you don't people don't want to answer your questions. I mean, I think I've thrown out some dope questions in my day and they just haven't been answered. But a lot of it is because, again, the sincerity of the journalist, the sincerity of the person leading the conversation. It's important to have that just extra just quality of like, oh man, this is engaging. I want to talk to them. I want to speak to this person, you know, because that's going to make a difference in your conversations and your interviews. That's just one to grow with, man. Hey, listen, you don't gotta talk to me, but the next you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to accept what I'm saying, but especially if you hot, like if you're more popping than me, you know, hey, you know, more power to you. Keep doing the thing your way. Uh, I think if you're trying to build longevity in the space of talking to artists, talking to anybody, I just think that there needs to be just more journalistic integrity um, in your approach. That's all. That's all. But even before this, I want you to know I pre-ordered Let God Sort Them Out by the Clipse. Listen, I heard So Be It and was like, okay, all right. Now it's time for me to spend some money I don't have. I picked up an extra shift just to make sure I paid for that. Not that the album is like $40,000 or anything like that, but I did see that they are releasing some autograph vinyls, some exclusive autograph vinyls. Might have to get one of those. Not sure what record store in Nashville is going to have it, but I definitely want to get one of those. Um, but yeah, let God sort them out. Um, I um I don't pre-order a lot of albums. I don't buy a lot of albums anymore. But I tell you what, I am so excited and highly anticipating a new Clipse album because I still play the last one. The one place where Pusha T and I differ is that his favorite Clipse album is Hell Hath No Fury, and mine is definitely When the Casket Drops or Till the Casket Drops. Till the Casket Drops, I think is masterful. That is my favorite album of 2009. It is one of my favorite albums of that decade. Um, and there is if you are unfamiliar with the Clipse as a group, and all you know is maybe grinding and Mr. Me Too, I implore you to listen to Till the Casket Drops because I think that album is phenomenal. And it's phenomenal. And if you're a lyric listener like me, you can tell that Malice is on the way out. Like he's done. And he's rapping like he's done. There is a not even a contradiction, but there's a transition of rhyming from track one to the end of that album to where you can see like, okay, I'm changing my life. I'm stepping away from rap. I'm stepping away from all of this. This ain't for me right now. And Push is like, no, I'm going crazy. But it still sounds great together. It still is a very just cohesive and great project. Man, Till the Casket Drop, still one of my favorite albums, period. Definitely one of my favorite group albums, period. And definitely check it out. Listen to that one, Let God Sort Them Out. Something tells me it's gonna be fire. And I'm not even that super like, oh my God, like the first two singles, even though they fire, don't get me wrong. But I think it's some stuff coming on there that's gonna be super dope. And I can't wait to hear it. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. It's made in the 1980s, special live um, audio. Obviously, it's going to drop on Friday for all you audio listeners out there. But obviously, the video is right now because we're live right now. And I was not going to let too much time go by. I wanted to do this on Saturday, but I was out of it. A lot going on, a lot of moving parts. But gonna talk about y'all boy Jim Jones. Yep, y'all boy Jim Jones. I don't know if anybody tunes in to the First Black Champ podcast, the wrestling podcast I do that I enjoy doing with my comrade JR Bang. And I mentioned that I blame him and a lot of other people for Jim Jones feeling the way he feels, but let me kind of dial it back in. I'm gonna shoot my guy Bang some bail because he now appreciates Nas music near the level that I do. I'm gonna say near the level because he's late to the party. But I gotta talk Jim Jones, not because I'm a Nas fan. Look, I knew it was Cap. I had a feeling it was Cap. He was talking about check Billboard and see where my numbers rank up against Nas. I kind of knew that was Cap because I don't remember him having a bigger record than If I Ruled the World. Hate Me Now. Shoot, I Can. I don't think he had the bigger record than I Can. So a lot of this was just nonsense to me in general. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to make sure, shout out to the internet for interneting and letting us know that no, he didn't really move in the units like that. I want to say, I think it was Summer Jam. Yeah, it had to have been Summer Jam because it just happened over this weekend. And I obviously people can manipulate video to whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? But they showed like some people were like in the crowd at Summer Jam, not moved by the Jim Jones. And some of that I think is performative. So I'm not going to go in too crazy on that. I don't think that's a great gauge because Summer Jam is a long concert and a lot of people are there. Your favorite artists may just not be coming up yet. So, and maybe the whole section ain't really up for it. When it comes to festivals, when it comes to those big concerts, nobody is there for everybody. And depending on what time of day, what artist, it might be crickets in some pockets of the section. So we're not even going to get into that. None of that matters to me. I knew he never sold more records than Nas. Shoot, I don't think Jim Jones sells more records than a lot of artists. I would be, I don't know. I don't think he's selling more records than Big X the Plug right now. And he brand new. You know what I mean? I don't, all of this, everything, a lot of things are performative. But this is what I do want to speak about in regards to Jim Jones is just the aspect of proof that being the man where you are can go too far. Being the man where you are can go too far. I think that's the first thing to recognize in this. So now, as a Dipset fan, okay, let's be clear, Dipset fan, Dipset supporter, but did not love Jim Jones as a rapper during that time either. But I will say, and I've said it on, I think maybe this platform, I might have said it on Banging on Lunch Tables. I've said it different places over just the years. When Dipset came out and they were putting Harlem on the map, Harlem didn't even feel like it was in New York. It felt like it was like another planet. It was like a planet next to Earth. That's how larger than life the Dipset movement felt to me. I'll speak for me as somebody that was living in the Chicago area and then even have moved to Atlanta and then back, right? Dipset felt like, is this the same Harlem that Mace is from and Dougie Fresh is from, and Rob Bass, Puff Daddy? Like, it didn't even feel the same. The way that they were talking, the slang, the aesthetics, the look, none of it looked like that, right? So Jim Jones is a product of that. He's definitely a integral piece to us, not even to us looking at Harlem differently nationwide. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously all the boroughs in New York are represented in a real way. But man, when Harlem got that run with Dipset, man, they made it seem like that wasn't even in America. like how Kane was talking to Ronnie about moving to Atlanta. He was like, you acting like Atlanta ain't even in America." He's like, they don't care about us in the South. That's how Harlem felt. And the residual of that is we are 22 years from the Diplomatic Immunity album. And Jim Jones, not only is he like living the residuals of that, I'm not gonna say that he's living firmly off of it because obviously everybody's far removed from Dipset. If you weren't by then, if you weren't by now, I mean, Versus probably kind of tipped the scale for you. Excuse me, but Jim Jones has also done what he's needed to do to kind of like pick up the ball and keep running. And as Cam just decides to do other things like the UN with Vado and just put out his own albums on his own time. And while Joel just, had his own personal struggles and kind of just laid off from music outside of a few features, Jim Jones has been um, the active member of that original like nucleus of Dipset, right, musically. And I'm not going to dispute that the Ballin' record wasn't a big record for him. It was. I mean, listen, I'll never forget. People sometimes you associate music to when you were outside in the clubs and you were doing your thing or whatever. I knew the song Ballin' was a big deal when the New York Giants played on Monday Night Football and the New York Giants pissed off John Madden. He was pissed. and he and honestly, he didn't even know why because he don't really know. Rest in peace to John Madden. I don't think he was a rap fan like that. And every time a sack was made, one of the linemen or one of the linebackers would be like "ballin'" with the ball, with the actual football or whatever. And then he was like, I don't understand this. He was like, they're shooting baskets on the football field. I don't get what all the showboating and all this about. What is this celebration about? Like, and then they did it so many times because the song had reached peak popularity then. But man, that song made for a tough night for John Madden. He did not want to hear that. He did not want to hear that. He did not want to see that. So that's one of the things I remember about the record. I was like, okay, if it's on Monday Night Football, this is a big deal. I mean, and then again, for my wrestling fans out there, if you're a wrestling fan like me, you remember MVP. You know what I'm saying? When he first came to the WWE SmackDown, but even before he was the US champion, I believe he was how John Cena got the 5-knuckle shuffle or whatever, and Kofi Kingston had the boom drop. He had the ball and elbow. And he was, don't ballin', and drop the elbow on him. So I'm not here to front like it wasn't a moment in time, but I mean, hey, look, the results are the results, and that was not a number one record. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's good for casual conversation. It's good to be a moment in time. That's proof that you can have a hit on your hands, but it's not a number one. And there's a difference. I mean, listen, and why should it be a number one when Jay-Z's first number one came on Blueprint 3? And Empire State of Mind is not your favorite Jay-Z song. It ain't. But you know what? It's his first number one. So if you're telling me that we live in a world where Hard Knock Life, the song, Streets is Watching, Where I'm From, Izzo, Girls, 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 hey, shoot, Can't Knock the Hustle. What else has been out? Money Cash Hoes. That was my joint. If you want to tell me all of those records were never number one. I totally understand why Ballin' ain't number one, but was never a number one. Shoot, I don't want to live in a world where those records are not number one and Ballin' is. That's where I want to live. So I'm okay. But yeah, being the man where you are, hey, listen, Jim Jones, whether you want to, you know, split the hairs that Cameron did and say, yeah, he was born in the Bronx. His grandma lived in Harlem. That's how he came to Harlem. That's fine. I'm not here to, nitpick and argue over where Mama Jones pushed him out at. Right. I'm not here to do that. The bottom line is he lives in New York. He rep Harlem. My guess is that he lives in Harlem still. And he puts on for Harlem, and the city itself does love that about Jim Jones. But obviously they do not support it musically, or maybe they're the only ones that is supporting it musically. So because here's the thing. Also, Jim Jones is living proof of that. The internet is not real life. The internet is not real life. Because if you did go by how many times he goes viral, yeah, one may assume that he has 20 number one singles. One would assume that. You would assume that he sold platinum and gold consistently, but he hasn't. He hasn't. Hey, listen, I know we are still in this world of trying to figure it out as labels start becoming tech companies. But here's the bottom line. 1 million streams ain't $1 million. It also ain't 1 million record sales. 500,000 streams, 500,000 views does not result in a gold album. It does not. And while Jim Jones probably does a great job at going viral. I mean, look, the weather report on Revolt, right? That was supposed to, I'm not saying that didn't work. That didn't work from an internet piece, but we're now letting him talk too much incorrectly because he's not selling the records that he thinks he's selling. He's not charting the way he thinks he's charting because he goes viral. And we shouldn't be that shouldn't be like that's not an I gotcha moment. That's not an aha moment. Look at how many people go viral but can't sell records. When we just on the Cash Me Outside girl, respected dude because he used to follow me on Twitter, but the Chocolate Rain dude, you know what I'm saying? 50 Tyson, Welvin, why you always lying? That kid, I'm sorry, he might be a grown man too. That's my bad if he but yeah, but there's plenty of young people that go viral, but they can't move a unit to save their life because you do eventually have to put out some high quality music. Even that little kid, the little cowboy kid that was yodeling or whatever outside of that grocery store that time. A lot of people go viral, bro, but that don't mean that you have it in the studio and you making that shiza. You ain't got heat. You know what I mean? Like it don't mean that. So, we gotta stop. We gotta stop one entertaining this because he got me too. Jim Jones got me too. Especially he's talking about Nas. I'm like, come on, y'all. That's my favorite rapper in the world. I think he's the greatest rapper ever in life. Like, don't do this. But when you're talking about you moving more units than Nas, I'm like, dog, but like, where are these songs? I've been asking that question low key for a year now, too. Where are these songs that have Jim Jones so high on some of y'all list? I'm not gonna call people out, but y'all gassing. Y'all gassing and glazing a lot of this Jim Jones music. And you got to explain why, especially when we're also living at a time that the voice louder than ever is. Ain't no real music out. Ain't nobody really spitting. Ain't nobody really talking about nothing I can feel. Like there's so much negativity about specifically rap music today. and all of us are guilty of it. Every last one of us. We're guilty of saying how trash bag rap music is right now, but yet Jim Jones got the heat. That's that's more of an indictment of how bad the music is then. Because look, the internet did it for us. He went on Joe and Jada's podcast, talking about put his numbers up against the legends, and he don't even got a leg to stand on. And I saw the whole, oh, if you start their careers at balling, bro. First of all, if you're equal in the playing field, and I like somebody said this, so I'm kind of jacking their style here, but if leveling the playing field for Jim Jones to compete with a Jada Kiss, a Nas, a Jay-Z is to eliminate the 90s. Come on, bro. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? If I gotta eliminate the 90s and the early 2000s, so we starting everybody's career at 2007. The problem is, guys, when you do that, the other two guys are already legends. Right? The other artists are already legends. Some of them have already had their classic verses, had their classic albums. Like now they're just legacy acts, even back then. But even still, Jim Jones ain't dropped the album better than King's Disease 1 or 2 or Magic. He does not have an album that's rivaling that. Stop it. Like, relax. Come on, dog. Talk real to me. So there's another thing. There's another narrative I wanna talk about, as well as kind of like just highlight, because I think this is also inaccurate. Because people are like, oh, well, Jim Jones is so tapped into the youth. Is he? Wanting to be a YN or being a representation of the oldest YN alive, I don't think that's really tapping into the youth. I don't think that's real. Because of my profession now, and because I've worked in retail management, and because hey, look, I literally just be outside. I see young people, they compliment me on my outfit, or they just think I'm cool and they want to kick it with me, chop it up with me. I talk to their homies or whatever. I have a daughter that's 14. You know, she'll be 15 this year in August. I can tell you this, literally off the rip, I don't hear these young people talking about Jim Jones. I do not hear it. They're talking about SZA. Shoot, hey, they talking about Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. But these kids also are on Travis Scott. I just talked to my homie today, my young homie I work with, 22 years old. Loves Travis Scott. That is his premier artist. I don't even know if he knows what's even going on with Jim Jones right now. You know what I'm saying? And he's one of those real supporters. Like, he has the merch, he buys the albums. They go, they see dude perform. It's I don't see young people doing that for Jim Jones. Now look, hey, look, I want to be clear. If this is happening in New York, cool. I ain't saying zero of them are doing it, but I don't. Even when I go back to Chicago, I don't see this. I don't see these young Tennessee boys. They on Key Lock. They still playing Dolph. They on Big X the Plug right now. They're like that. Where is this Jim Jones? Is it like Nashville specifically? They still on Starlito. Like I'm tuned in. Like I'm tuned in enough. Like a lot of these kids, especially now with this new Offset record, these kids is on JID. You know what I'm saying? Like, and be clear, everybody I name can rap. They 20 years younger and they rapping. So, well, I mean, not Travis Scott, but but I think Travis Scott's a better rapper than Jim Jones. I don't think that's a far fetch of saying it. I'm not saying he started that way, but I'm saying that he's definitely progressed to be a better rapper. That like they're on the same level, if anything. But so I don't really believe that narrative of, oh, well, Jim Jones is so tapped into the youth, the young boys really mess with him. It's like, But these young people aren't um they're not like nationwide. They're not on him like that. These I mean, wouldn't we just celebrating NBA YoungBoy and NLE Chopper as being like the faces and the voices of just all the young kids on the internet? Lil Baby had a run, Dirk had a run. Like, dog, what now all of a sudden, now Jim Jones has that all those runs have been him? No, come on, dog. Stop it. Stop it. And before and I thought about this as I was making my notes for the today's episode. Jim Jones standing next to like the young boys, like maybe like the young drill dudes, like I don't know. Let's say he's standing next to like Trippy Red or something like that, or he's standing next to like 5 and Pop Smoke in them back in the day. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke, right? Jim Jones standing next to the new young people of today is not the equivalent of when 50 Cent was standing next to Soldier Boy, or when 50 Cent was standing next to Chief Keef, or at least he was attempting to. It's not the same thing. Because one, Soldier Boy had a hit, right? Now, obviously, Crank That Soldier Boy, no matter how you feel about it, it was a hit record. And then you get to, Turn My Swag On and Pretty Boy Swag, all those things. But even before that, but very early, 50 Cent stood next to Soldier Boy off of just one proven hit and maybe one on the way, right? The difference between that is that, yeah, let's say Soldier Boy sold 2 million. Well, 50 had already sold 12. That's the difference. These young boys that Jim Jones is standing next to are outselling him. So he's not the big homie. You can't like like in the music game, yeah, he may be around, he may know more or whatever, but I mean, honestly, come on, dog. If the people at the label can't tell you nothing, and they're the one that's creating and manufacturing a lot of the marketing and the superstars, right? What makes you think the dude that's going ghetto gold is going to be able to tell the dude that just sold 1 million what to do? Like, Jim Jones doesn't outsell Russ. Why does Russ have to listen to Jim Jones? Fast forward, Chief Keef, Don't Like, Going Crazy, Good Music Do the Remix. Drill music becomes a thing nationwide, not just in Chicago. 50 Cent attempts to stand next to Chief Keef. Chief Keef is fire, fish grease. He's buzzing, beyond buzzing at this time. Him and Young Chop, Reese, Dirk, everything. Like, even though, look, Chief Keef may not be the father of drill music, but he is the reason why it is mainstream. Chief Keef and Young Chop want to cuss out Kanye West for stripping down beats in the studio. They're trying to stand next to 50 Cent. They listen to 50 Cent. Why? Because 50 Cent was about 100 million albums sold by the time. That's the difference. Standing next to 50 means something, no matter who you are. Soulja Boy said his mama listened to In the Club. That's the first album he ever heard. So, and the culture or the mindset is, oh, that's old nigga music, right? Or that's something for the old heads or whatever. But no, that wasn't his take at all. It was like, oh no, that's 50 Cent. Like, that's the man. Like, he sold 10 million albums on one shot. He sold 20 million within two, you know what I'm saying? So by the time we get to 2013, when finally Rich comes out, and Chief Keef was just a victim of his own circumstance. Like, you know what I'm saying? He took it a little too far to where 50 had to back away from. Again, 50 Cent stand next to all the bad kids that want to do music. That's how what was the dude, Rainbow Bright? Tekashi 6ix9ine, that was his name. He was standing next to him. Again, he was like, yeah, he was hot. But 50 really sold records. And even in 2017, standing next to 50 Cent means something. Standing next to 50 Cent will always mean something when it comes to this music industry. Why? Because the man has sold over 100 million records, I would think by now. I think he probably is. If he's not right there, he's over there. Like, and that's the difference. Jim Jones' cachet for these young artists is not that. It's not that. And we got to stop talking like it is. But again, I think if you're not the Joe Budden podcast, and I think if you're not in Harlem, New York, I don't think you feel like this. I think I think there's more people that hear what I'm saying and understand this more than they understand that. I've never understood where the propping up of Jim Jones even came from. That makes no sense to me. Let's check out some comments here. Jones checked in. Said Jim ain't even done enough since '06. He got maybe 3 albums worth talking about post '06, '07. Hey, I'm not I don't think you're wrong. I think Wasted Talent is probably one of those albums. That just recently came out. Let me see. Here's another one. It says, but from my man Jones again, Jimmy is the victim of nostalgia and NY, specifically Harlem bias. Harlem specific bias. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong on that at all. And but man, talk about heat check. Talk about heat check. Man, people been eating him alive with their own like personal content of like, yo, you said you sold more albums than Nas. You said you had more #1 singles than Nas, and we don't even show you having a top 10. Or we show you had 0 #1s. And I think that's hilarious because Billboard has no reason to fudge your numbers. You know, like answer to that, Jim. Answer to that. Like why did you say that when we can Google? Jim Jones needs to Google himself. Literally, a simple Google search of yourself would help. But hey, listen, I'm gonna side with some of the people that may just know him a lot better than I have. And I do, you know what I'm saying? I don't know him at all as a person, as a human being. They say, man, he just trolling so he can get hot because he got something coming out. He plays the internet game. And I hate that. I hate that narrative. I hate that that just ideology because I've never bought an album, purchased it because the artist was playing internet games. I've never done that. I don't go to your show. I don't buy your merch. I don't become a supporter of your brand or your artistry. I don't support your artistry because you're winning the internet games. You're going viral. Hey, and maybe I'm just old. You dig? This is made in 1980s for a reason. Maybe I'm just old, but that don't move me. Your internet antics don't move me to make me like reach for my wallet. No. I might put my phone face down in disgust. I might click off of YouTube because I watch it on TV most of the time now. But I've never like made a purchase because somebody is viral. And I would love to know the people that are. If you're buying product of any kind because somebody is viral, let me know. Let me know. I'm kind of fascinated by this high key. High key, I'm fascinated by this because I think that's a lot wrong with the game today. And this is every aspect. This is not just the rap game. I think this is the entertainment game. I think this is the athlete game. I think this is product placement, whether you're buying soap or air fryers. It doesn't matter. I think everything is kind of in this. You know what I'm saying? Like I worked in radio in the era where the salespeople would come to my office and say, we need to make a viral video. And then I'd spend about 30 minutes explaining how they don't work that way. So now it's super dinosaur. It's fossil fuel talk to think that, oh man, I'm going to go viral in 2025. I'm going to go viral and that is going to get me X. I don't think that works the way people think it do. and people determine hit records. You know, and listen, all those Instagram dances y'all were doing. I mean, I'm sorry, TikTok dances that y'all were doing 3, 4, 5 years ago. No, how many of those artists are artists one, and how many of them exist right now? So please let me know who's buying what because person X is viral. I'd love to know. Off Jim Jones. This is made in the 1980s. I'm gonna have a little human moment with y'all, just real quick, man. And then we're gonna talk about some music I'm feeling. Um, Listen, here's a question. I haven't thrown it out there yet. A matter of fact, I should post it. What is the best rap album sequel ever? Let me type that into the comments here. I want to know y'all opinion. What is the best rap album sequel ever? In your opinion, of course. In your opinion, of course. I want to know this. Be thinking about that as I have this human moment and we talk for a little bit before we get into that. Because I'm also going to talk about some new music I'm feeling. Look, it's Tuesday. Normally I do like a new music review on Tuesday. And I have checked out some albums. I haven't really made no notes on them. I've been hearing a lot of stuff in passing. I've been on the go. But I do want to at least talk a little music on a more positive note. We started with positivity with the Clipse conversation with the New York Post. We're gonna end in positivity, talking about best rap album sequel and some music I'm feeling out right now. But man, I want to say this as I'm on Made in the 1980s, this podcast, and this is only episode 62. We're a little behind because I'm in pursuit of just something greater than myself, improving my life, improving my circle, making sure my wife and I are great. Oh, my daughter also, even though she ain't messing with me right now. My mom, she needs some help. You know what I'm saying? Um, Let me see. But listen, what I want to say is I went through a space where nobody's content was inspiring me at all. In fact, it was kind of making me mad. Uh, I ain't gonna lie, it was making me mad. I was seeing a lot of interviews. I'm seeing a lot of interview styles. I'm seeing a lot of just stuff. I'm like, dog, this is garbage. Like, what are we doing? This sucks. I full transparency. I think a lot of y'all suck. I'm sorry, respectfully. A lot of you suck. Like, you can tell that you don't read, you don't like writing, you don't like you get off on being loud and wrong. You're not able to really engage with the listener. You have and some of you have decent questions, but you just deliver them so poorly. And I hate cutoff culture. Like, some of you are so, it's like double dutch. You dying to jump in the conversation so much that you're not even hearing what the person is saying. Like, so you're just talking over each other. A lot of people are back to arguing. Um I'm back to arguing on just on microphones. It's just mad yelling. A lot of you covering the same topics. Like, a lot of you just suck, bro. I'm sorry. Quote the scribe is not sorry, but I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So and Jones, I'm gonna get back to your answer when we change the segment. But yeah, but I say all that. I say all that to say, man, but recently in the last week or so, because I take my little low-key hiatuses off of social platforms, but I still stay on YouTube. And man, I've been seeing some really great conversations. Uh, um, I'm a Dr. Umar fan. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my homies with white girls. This is no disrespect to y'all. But I'm a Dr. Umar fan. I like what he be talking about. I like how he's just so pro us. He's just so pro black. Like, and not just like on some oh, we need segregation in Black Wall Street. It's just like, no, like he really wants to like just help the progression of black people, you know, emotionally, spiritually, economically as well. He's trying to improve black self-love. That's what I recognize, and that's what I gravitate to. I don't the bunny hopping stuff be funny, it's cool, it's hilarious. I mean, look, I've I've dabbled in the snow a little bit myself, right? But all of my wives have been black. Don't play with me. But uh, but I say that to say that it's less about that for me and more about his care for the Black American and our minds and how we're growing. And a podcast, even though I've only seen this, so I'm not necessarily um co-signing this entire platform, right? But man, the Growth, Power, and Success podcast, the episode with him on there, I've only seen like just clips, but man, I love the conversation that these brothers are having. It's it's very enlightening. It's very refreshing to see, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, again, all that gender war stuff sucks. I'm sick of women and men, and I'm sick of men, and I'm sick of women hopping on these platforms. Why are you single? Why don't you be submissive? Why don't you make six figures? Like, shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I had to say that because that's how I feel. Like my skin starts crawling and I feel my heart rate going like through the roof and like my eyes I start getting dizzy. Like it just because the content sucks and I'm sick of hearing it. So I do enjoy people like the Growth Power Success podcast. Again, the New York Post. I talked to y'all about that. The New York Post. I love that episode right there. Let me and I was gonna say now listen, I will say, even though I I honestly like it because I don't agree with it all the time. I do like checking out the Joe Budden podcast still. It's still the podcast that I do listen to the most and the longest. Um and and for a more unbiased and just humorous sports talk, I am checking out It Is What It Is, Cam and Mace. I do I do mess with that. There was also something else I want to highlight on some positive stuff. Oh, you know what? Hey, listen, I don't know if y'all noticed. If you want a good laugh, what I've been cracking up at lately is the dude Jay Renshaw, his YouTube channel. He on TikTok. If y'all know, it's the is there a black person here? Is those is that skit when there's some more of them? Hey, it is hilarious. When I tell you this hilarious, man, I be having a blast checking this out. And hey, look, not for nothing. Hey, listen, and I know he gets wrapped up into this too, but man, that Cam Newton K Michelle talk. I know what the internet is saying about it, but they talking about the clips of the actual show. The conversation that K Michelle and Cam Newton are having is really good. And what was so dope about their conversation is that she talked about Nashville, and I got a chance to like I live out here. It'll be 5 years since I've been out here in August. And man, what she says is so true. Um, and it was great to have a conversation like that happening, but just it was all black people in the room because this is I think the conversation that they have, even though the conversation about Nashville in a degree is very short and it's really music industry based, I think it does speak to the overall, I guess, culture of what it means to be out here in Nashville. As a black person, like again, it's not a lot of Henny Hookah and Wings out here, but there is plenty of positive things to do. There's plenty of fun things, entertaining things, plenty of black things to do. What kind of black person are you? Are you a very closed-minded, I don't want to do anything but what I want to do type of person? Or I want to do what I saw, like I'm only at there's grass walls and neon lights to the casket drop. Like what kind of black person are you? Because I love being here. And but I think I've also have proven my ability to adapt and adjust and to do a lot um, that is probably not the norm. So I did enjoy that conversation. And one last place, because I'm not here to totally big up everybody that I'm checking out, but if y'all ever see a Subway takes with Kareem Ramen Rama, I think that is. But Subway takes is hilarious. Subway takes is hilarious. That's probably like my favorite New York content. It's because side talk don't they don't be side talk NYC, they don't be dropping regularly enough for me. But Subway takes is hilarious. But I'm saying all that to say, man, that there's a lot of content I'm inspired by, and I'm so inspired that it made me want to quit temporarily. Like that's how inspired I am. It made me want to quit, and I'll explain why. Because there's a lot of great, unique, inspirational content with a lot of great information, and I want in on that. You know what I'm saying? I want in on that. But to be real, I'm just not in the right space. Not in the right space. I am even as I just navigate through work, I'm just a lot of my creative just energy is pulled in so many different directions right now, man. And I want to create a lot of things, but I need structure and order, and I'm really lacking that right now. Um, what I will say is that within the past, what, 3 weeks? Let's just say from my birthday till now, so a little bit over a month, right? So about 5 or 6 weeks. I have learned that the creative in me will like never die. That's never gonna die. But I definitely do need to be in a better creative space, so I can get all of these things in my mind and in my spirit just out to the people. Like, look, hey, I still want to put out albums. I still want to write. I want to write another book. I want to have a podcast and a live show that is just phenomenal, and it's really like touching on some just real talk. Like I want to be impactful, and I'm not saying that these conversations can't be impactful or they haven't been impactful, because even if it's just an escape from your day and that serves as a positive impact, that's awesome. But man, some of the stuff that I've been digesting and some of the stuff that I'm just tired of seeing is making me think like, man, there's got to be a better purpose than this. Of course, y'all know homie, what's his name? Deontay Kyle, Grits and Eggs podcast. Yo, he's smoking it. I want to be a black man saying that about another black man. Deontay from Grits and Eggs is killing this right now. He's doing a lot of great conversation. I keep it real. I only be checking out him on TikTok, but I am going to start listening to the show. I want to see a full episode. I want to see how long the episodes are, all of that. But I appreciate the perspective. Um, and not to turn people off, but I feel that that many of you overlooked when Kevin Samuels was alive. But it's coming from a different face. It's coming probably maybe in a little more palatable way, maybe. I don't know. But again, man, the harsh reality of self-development and the absence of not coddling people, I think that's needed. I enjoy that kind of content. I don't be feeling attacked. I be feeling inspired. I be feeling like get up and go. Let's go make something happen. I'm not very fragile. I do take things personally. I'm not gonna act like I don't, but I'm not a fragile human. So I appreciate the clips that I've seen. I'm gonna check out his some of his episodes real soon, real soon. Um, but man, that's not to say that you won't see me trucking along and doing episodes when I can. Obviously, I got more stuff going on. There's so much I want to talk about, just music wise. I love music, man. I love talking music. I love creating music. I love just everything music. And I'm working my best to one, learn the game that I'm in, but also figure out a great way to combine these two worlds, combine the worlds of music and finance, and mesh them together for me for the long haul. I that is my goal. I don't want to call it a passion, it's a goal. Because if it becomes a goal, then I will put in the extra work that's needed to make it happen, and then we will move forward. So it is a goal. I will figure out how I combine finance and music in my own way and make some dope things happen. Also, I'm going to get back into live shows too. Be clear, Made in the 1980s will also be an event. I'm saying that now so you don't become too surprised later. I'm not going to tell you what type of event because that requires me putting in the work. I'm tired of telling people vision. I'm just going to show them a vision. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show them vision. You know what I'm saying? What Jaden Smith said, I just need you to listen to the vision. But yeah, man. And again, respect to everybody that's doing great work out here. I am I definitely I'm gonna try to check out as much as I can to just stay inspired. But right now, man, I won't even lie. It's not matter of fact, I shouldn't say maybe I want to quit. No, I want to retool, I want to revamp, I want to get better. And that's what I look at all this space. It's like you shouldn't be in a space where you shouldn't be in a space where you see somebody doing something to make you want to stop. It should make you motivated to get better. And I like the content that makes me get better because unfortunately, hey, listen, when you watch the content that sucks, it just makes you think, oh, I can do it too. They did it, I can do it too. I'm ready for people to start making things look difficult. You know, I wanted to I want to stop looking so easy. I want singing to stop looking so easy. I want rap to start looking so easy. Playing an instrument or using Pro Tools because y'all don't play instruments. I want conversation. I want interviews and journalism. I want it to look difficult again. I want it to look like there is a separation. I want to look like the 1% because a lot of people are trash. A lot of people are trash. And if I knew your names, I'd call your names. I don't remember your names because I don't tune in that long because you're trash. Be the hit dog. Be the hit dog. I'm here. But let's move on, man. Made in the 1980s. That's enough me talk right now. We're over an hour in. What is the best rap album sequel ever, in your opinion? Jones has an opinion. Only Built for Cuban Links 2. Does 2001 count as a sequel? Okay, so I want to read this right. Your pick is Only Built for Cuban Links 2. And you are asking about Chronic 2001 as a sequel. I am going to absolutely say that. I'm going to absolutely say 2001 is a sequel because I mean, without Suge Knight, it would just be called the Chronic 2. But no, it was the Chronic 2000. That's what it was going to be called, Chronic 2000. But Suge Knight opted to drop the Chronic 2000 himself, so Dr. Dre drops 2001. So no, it's definitely a sequel. It's definitely a sequel. Let's name some other sequels that's obvious out there before I get to my answer. Obviously Blueprint 2, you know, even though that's a trilogy, but there is a part 2. Extinction Level Event 2, that's one. King's Disease 2, Magic 2, In My Lifetime, Hard Knock Life Volume 2. I don't know, that's not really a sequel. Never mind. Jay doesn't have 2 sequel joints like that. Let me see. There wasn't Snoop hasn't dropped a sequel album, right? No, he hasn't dropped it like a Doggy Style 2. A Tikal 2000 did come out. I don't know if that really counts. Muddy Waters 2, Redman. He finally dropped Muddy Waters 2. Good album, but I mean, again, Busta Rhymes and Redman, I think they were the two guys that definitely underestimated how great their project was and how we did not need a second one. The energy was just never going to be that again. It was just never going to be that again. And Muddy Waters is a standalone project. Like, that's all we ever really needed. Extinction Level Event as a standalone album, that's all we ever needed. We did not need sequels to those. You know what I'm saying? Sequels or series. So no, it's only sequels. So yes, Run the Jewels, that they don't count to me because that's what that's like. They did like 3 or 4, right? And so the Step Brothers, they on Step Brothers 4 Life. You know what I mean? Stillmatic is definitely a sequel. You know what I'm saying? It's just instead of calling it Illmatic 2, we call it Stillmatic. So yeah, that's definitely a sequel. So maybe Blueprint 2 actually doesn't count under that because it ends up being a trilogy. And Kings of these two, I guess, yeah, because they end up being trilogies. So maybe I am off base on that. But my favorite, hands down, too. It's not even close. Raekwon, Ghostface, only built for Cuban Links too. I think that is one of the better Wu albums, period. Especially like Wu solo albums, but man, I that went too far under the radar for me. That goes way too far under the radar for me. Like that one, that only built for Cuban Links 2 album is incredible. And it's not just the RZA doing production. You know, hey, listen, I often criticize Dr. Dre for his beats that he gives the East Coast rappers. I love the beats that he gave Raekwon. Eric Sermon's on there. Alchemist is on there. I think Pete Rock got a joint on there. Like, yo, listen, only built for Cuban Link 2. I actually need to buy a hard. No, I do have a hard copy of it. No, I had the burned copy, and I bought it. I still bought it because it was that fire. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not disrespecting this album. I'm keeping a burned copy in my car. I gotta go buy this. It only felt right. That is the only one I felt that I definitely had to buy. And present day, that's the only one I definitely will buy. No. The UBN theme, and I do love that, but I don't think that's a sequel. May the Lord watch. Even though hey, look, 2 great standalone albums. I love the themes of it, but I definitely see the correlation. But I wouldn't call it a sequel because hey, listen, hey, look, not for nothing, no Ninth Wonder. So no. Hey, but I love it. And what I do love about that album is that a lot of people counted that album out because Ninth Wonder went out of his way to say that he was not going to be on that album or be a part of that album. And like, it's still fire. There were still like, there were no ninth drums on there. But again, I am just so pro Fonte. I'll keep saying it. The way y'all speak about Andre 3000, the way y'all speak about Kendrick Lamar, that's the way I choose to speak about Fonte from Little Brother. And I am not going to waver on that. I think he's an incredible artist that does incredible music. And his clip is long. Pause if necessary, but his clip is crazy when it comes to putting out quality work of any genre too. Because I'll be liking his EPs when he be singing and doing dance music and all that stuff too. The Foreign Exchange albums, again, it wasn't what I wanted to hear at the time, but man, some of that music fire. Like the stuff with Nicolay, like, yo, again, I don't know how much wrong Fonte does musically. I think he's one of the greatest artists of our time, and we're not nearly celebrating him enough as we need to. Just personal opinion. Wow, while y'all waiting for 3,000 verses, go listen to some Fonte. While you waiting for Kendrick Lamar to make the bops that you wanted him to get Drake out of here for, listen to some Little Brother, listen to some Fonte. Just saying. In a lot of respects, Fonte is one of the original versions of Drake. So that's how I feel. Cuban Link 2, though, best sequel, best rap sequel. I brought this topic up because Ghostface Killer is, if it's not already out too, because I haven't checked, but Supreme Clientele 2 is supposed to be coming out. Now, as somebody that is not necessarily a Ghostface fan, at least not at the start, I will say, you can't throw in that Supreme Clientele album. Even if you don't understand it, even though we go back 25, 26 years later, I was right at all of those rap conversations I had in the contact in the commons area of school and in studio sessions when I was like, he not really rapping about nothing. He just saying words that rhyme. It's just sounding fly to y'all because the beats are so hard. And then for him to admit it, like, yo, I went to Africa and I was just like, I'm just gonna say anything. And I was like, bro, and that's literally what it sounded like. But it's fire though. I can't lie. He was going through it. And here we are, 25 years later? And he's going to put out the sequel to Supreme Clientele? I don't know. I don't know. But I will say this. If Cuban Link 2 was a great, to me, it's neck and neck. I don't have the first Cuban Link way over the second one. I got them at a dead heat. So if Ghostface, 25 years later, can make Supreme Clientele 2 and it sounds on par with the original, we got to start having a different conversation about him. Because his catalog ain't bad. It's not bad. I fronted very early. I ain't gonna lie. But if you really just deep dive into catalogs, Ghostface got one of them ones. If you like rap music, if you just like hard beats and crazy raps, none of his albums are missing that. None of them. So, just a thought. Cuban Link 2, though. Cuban Link 2. That's my number one. I'm actually anticipating Supreme Clientele 2 because, again, I don't think Ghostface is putting out subpar work. So let's see where this goes. Are you excited to hear Supreme Clientele 2? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now let's transition a little bit. Let's go to the music I'm feeling, and we're gonna get up out of here. I was on my 3-mile run walk because I can't run the full 3 miles yet. I'm almost there though. I'm well over 2 miles. Don't play with me. But man, I don't know if y'all remember the Wu-Tang album A Diagrams, which I think also came out at like 08, 09. There's a song called Take It Back. It's one of my favorite songs on this album. One, let's talk about this album real quick. On A Diagrams, Ghostface Killer officially just stepped forward as the best member of Wu-Tang on this album. On this album, it was like, okay, this is the other gear. Like, he was literally just creatively just wrapping circles around the rest of the group. And I come in the Wu-Tang as the Genius being my favorite member of the Wu. But when we get to 8 Diagrams, I think Ghost is the best member, and it don't even sound close on this album. It don't sound close. But on Take It Back, though, and I know this was a joke or something years ago, like pre-pandemic. But You God smoked Take It Back. He's the last verse on this song. And this ain't one of them, oh, RZA, Master Killer, Cabinet. No, Meth on here. I think Rayanne Ghost on here. Like, no, he went Meth on here. He went nuts. He went nuts. Listen to his verse on Take It Back. That's one of the better verses. Again, I'm how can I say this? You God has more memorable moments than people want to give him credit for. That's by no means saying that he's one of the better members of the Wu. We're not doing that. But if I am like literally like mapping them out as just a unit, Ghost, Ray, Genius is still top 3 to me. Meth can be 4. And I don't care who you put at 5. For me, it would be Capadonna, to be honest. Capadonna is I love Capadonna, so that's different for me. I love Capadonna. So he's always in my top 5. And if Method Man had not went on the run that he went in his late 40s and 50s, I'd have Capadonna over Method Man. For me, you don't have to agree with that, but man, listen, You God has some serviceable verses, but hey, his verse on Take It Back, crazy, crazy, fire. One of the best verses on that album, too, by the way. Just want to say that because if we're gonna, hey, look, if we're in the culture where we're gonna big up Jim Jones without naming one fire verse from him, I'm definitely about to talk to y'all about how this verse from You God on the 8 Diagrams album is fire. That's what we're gonna do. That's what I'm about. Also, hey, look, Wale got a banger out, and I know he got some bad press for how he reacted to Casa not knowing who he was, and I get all that. That's some ego stuff. I don't want to get into the ego stuff. Again, hey, as a person that was not always the biggest fan of Wale, that Where to Start is crazy. That Where to Start is crazy. And definitely listen to it, definitely support it. To me, listen, if I was a betting man and if DJs really played what was hot to them and not what was trending, this would be in heavy rotation all summer for me. This is one of the better summer records that you're probably going to hear this year. No joke. That's going to be that's one of those ones for me. I don't see too many records with that feeling being doper than that. Again, if DJs broke records and if DJs play what was hot to them and not just what they see on TikTok and Instagram, this should be in everybody's rotation. And it should be getting played. It should be at day parties. It should be in that 10 o'clock hour before the working class got to go home. Put this on about 9:30, 9:45 in the club or the night spot or the lounge or whatever. I think it's going to go up. 2 more projects I wanted to check out. Look, Fine Dining. I checked out Fine Dining. Dave East and Young Chris. Is Dave East just like the like the Jason Kidd of just rap projects? Like he got mad collabs. He just do mad collabs. This is decent. Young Chris trying out a new flow, and it's not bad. It's not bad. Did I love a lot of joints on here? No. It's like an EP, but it's not bad. It's good to hear people working it. It actually made me go back to some other Young Chris records. You know, in the Dave East collaborations, I don't have this up at the top, but something new for y'all to vibe to. That's cool. And listen, Memphis Bleak, Apartment 3D. Y'all know how I feel about Memphis Bleak. There will never be Memphis Bleak slander when I'm on the clock. I think this album is dope. off the first listen. I might come back and do a real review about it, so I won't say too much. But yo, so far, fire. Um, yo, Offset, JID, Bodies, fire, fire. I don't again, people can position video however they want. I don't know if people were not up for the Offset songs or not. I don't know. Maybe he has just so much bad PR, especially amongst women, that they don't rock with him no more. But outside of that, Bodies is fire. I'm here for the music. I never cared who he was dating. I never cared who he had children by. None of that matters to me. I care about the music. That's music is fire. Hey, the Cardi Outside record, it's not bad. Again, not for me. I have a penis, not a vagina, but I get how it's gonna go over with the ladies out there. Another one, Champagne Campaign, Smoke DZA, Wiz Khalifa, dope. And I think was it Priya? You know what I'm saying? That's a new joint that's out. And I love it. Oh yeah, hey, listen. Oh yeah, two more things I want to say. Two more things I want to say. One, dog, checking out Tiny Desk was that last weekend, and I watched the Braxton Cook Tiny Desk. Didn't know who dude was. Had no clue. But my man was on it. He went crazy in like 24 minutes. He's singing, then he playing the saxophone, then he played the guitar, then he started rapping. I'm like, dog, what is dude doing? But man, is he fire. I just typed his name in on title and just start shuffling. And there's some heat. But man, check out Braxton Cook. Braxton Cook. Braxtoncook. Braxton Cook is fire. Like he's on a whole different planet with it. Like, and that's respect to Masego. You know what I'm saying? And that's respect to like, back back when like people were like, oh man, B.O.B. can rap and play the guitar and he can carry a tune. And respect to B.O.B. But this ain't that. Braxton Cook gets busy. Like he's like great at everything he's doing. Like I'm a saxophone player, former saxophone player. I ain't played in years, but as a fan of that, I like hearing soulful music. I don't mind hearing the raps or whatever. He plays the guitar. Like dude's just nice. He's truly a musician. Literally, that's his category, musician. I don't know what genre. I heard everything in that 25 minutes. He's just a musician and he's dope. Check him out. Man, last thing I want to say here, man. Had a chance to get up to the Grand Ole Opry. Yeah, look at your boy. Look at your boy at the Grand Ole Opry on a random like Wednesday or Thursday night. You dig what I'm saying? And Aloe Black. Now listen, very familiar with my man's songs. No idea who he was, like by face or name. Black people, we need to celebrate Aloe Black, and we need to hold him up in a very high regard. If you don't know who Aloe Black is, that's the voice behind I Need a Dollar. That's the voice behind The Man that you could tell everybody this is your song. That song and Wake Me Up. Bro, Aloe Black. I seen him perform live at the Grand Ole Opry. He's amazing. He's an amazing vocalist. And he did some songs I've never heard from him before, but dog, when I say, and this is a predominantly white audience too, he got a standing ovation and it was well deserved. Like, again, I don't know. Again, I wasn't familiar. I've heard the songs. I've loved the songs, but I've never like had actually like You hear him so much in passing that you don't think to like add him to your collections or whatever. But bro, I'm officially on the support Aloe Black at all costs. Hey, listen, we missed the boat on Darius Rucker, even though he's still out here. He's still rocking. I've seen Darius Rucker perform since I've been out here in the last 5 years too. But man, listen, please support Aloe Black. If nothing else, because the messages that he's sending is so positive, so inspirational. It's again, it's I'm not trying to start nothing here, but it parallels a lot of what Jelly Roll is doing now, with kind of like the inspirational undertone, gospel undertone, but there's country element to it. It's soul to it, and the message you can live to, man. That's my thing now. I'm 44 years old. Listen, I'm all about music I can live to, not music I can die by. You know what I mean? And so for me, the more the message resonates with my spirit, or it makes me feel like I might want to cry to this one day, or I might cry on the spot when I'm hearing it. Like, bro, I'm all in. Look, Aloe Black, Warren Treaty, Darius Rucker. And I know, hey, listen, I know I'm challenging y'all. Hey, look, you can still listen to Cowboy Carter. It's cool. It's cool. I'm not here to change your mind. If you really want to listen to Shabuzi, cool. That's fine. Do your thing. You know what I mean? But Aloe Black, Warren Treaty, Darius Rucker, and there were some sisters, the McCrary sisters and the McClary sisters, but they're more gospel though. But man, check them out, listen to them, and man, if your spirit gets lifted up by what you hear, like mine was lifted up, man, let me know, because for real, it becomes very hard to smile through times. And there's not a lot of music made by people that look like me that is speaking to the times that we are living in, or how to deal with the times that we are living in. So unfortunately, I don't get into as much rap as I used to. I've just heavily diversified even more. And we should always diversify our taste, because there's a time and a place for everything. I will never stop being a hip hop head. I will never stop being a hip hop fan and supporter. Again, I told you I pre-ordered the Clipse. Let God sort them out. So this ain't about that. But what I'm saying is, for my people, especially us, as we try to make mental health a conversation, and mental stability, and we wonder about our faith and our relationships and our money and our time, everything that we are worried about in life. There are some artists making music for it. Unfortunately, they're just not in the rap and R&B genre. At least not the majority of them. They're not. I would encourage you to listen to more Jelly Roll if you haven't already, beyond the singles. But again, Aloe Black, Braxton Cook, Warren Treaty, Darius Rucker. Listen to those artists. I think it'll really help some of y'all out. And there's more. There's a lot of music I would love to put y'all on. I just really want to just nerd out for maybe like 3 hours one day, and just like, listen, if they give me the green light, I would just have listening sessions, and I would just put out. I just go through my shuffle, or just see the songs I played this week. Boom, look, hey yo, this is what I've been listening to. Then I'll tell you why, and I want to tell you a story about how I even came across the song in the first place. I would love to do that, but they'll flag my video. So if I can work out a deal with YouTube and Twitch, on my life, I'll do it. And Facebook. I'll work out a deal with all of y'all. Let me play the music that I've become inspired by or felt this week. Let me play the music. Let me tell a story around it, how it makes me feel. And I'll do it weekly. But until that day, you just gotta hear the footnotes. You gotta get the cliff notes of this. You know what I'm saying? And I thank you guys for tuning in. Man, thank you very much. I listen to a lot of lo-fi too. Ginseng dropped a new album, a new lo-fi album. If y'all into lo-fi, sometimes, yeah. Again, hey, it's called Far Away. Far Away, the new album by Ginseng. He was a lo-fi producer. Yeah, listen, man. Some of the music is so garbage. I don't even want to hear words. Just give me the beat. Get out the way. That's how I be feeling. So, so there's that. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, man. It's been made in the 1980s. Um, I hope to do this again soon because I really do enjoy it. But please take care of yourself. Please be safe. Get your health right. Get your money right. Get some life insurance for your children. If you die tomorrow and your kids ain't got nothing but your debt, you have done them a disservice. They did not ask to be here. Um, if you don't think um, legacy is important, and financial stability, then you are part of the black wealth problem and not the solution. But that's not even regulated to just black people, man. But please, I encourage everybody. Health, wellness, and look, I just lost 10 pounds. Lost more than 10 pounds. You know, I have a $1 million policy on just myself, and that's just the start. I'm saying that because it's important. Unfortunately, I've been having conversations. People are losing their grandparents, and they're losing their parents, or people are becoming sick or disabled, and unfortunately, they don't have enough money for the resources to heal themselves, or take the time off from work, or their work policies are not what they thought it would be. You know, and so I'm trying to do my best to take a conversation and connect as many people I can to people that I know that can help. And I don't say that lightly. You know what I'm saying? So um, it it can be too late, but I'm trying to make it so it's a situation where it is not. All right. So until next time, man, please be safe. Best of blessings to you in whatever you do. And just know that always and consensually, it's love.